Hey everyone, it's Eric McCormick with London Properties and Estate Sale Fresno, and we sell your house and everything in it. But not in every case like this, where we don't have an estate sale on this property. So, in addition to having the estate sale company and getting called in to do full liquidation for people, I'm also certified for probate and trust, and I get quite a few phone calls for complicated probate and trust transactions, and this is one of them. So, I want to give a shout out to a new company I just met before we get too far. Reaper Clean. So Amber is the owner of Reaper Clean. She does biohazard cleanout. She does an amazing job. When you see this house, you're going to think, wow, is this really that bad as I want to describe everything? It's not a great situation. This is what's considered a non-conforming house, but it was in a lot worse shape before this. And Reaper Clean did an incredible job of getting it to where we are now. However, in video, you can't smell the house. So we do have that. If you come into this property, you almost should be wearing a mask. It's not that great. But here's the situation. So it's a probate sale with full authority, though there are some complications and some extra paperwork we're going to be going through. This house had gotten broken into, so there's a lot of damage to the property. It's what's considered now, what I mentioned before, a non-conforming property. Probably needs a cash buyer. There's an extensive amount of work that will need to be done to fix up the property, and that's where I come in. So I work with hundreds of investors, and I know how to market a property like this to help the family get the highest and best price. Number one, we don't want to leave any money on the table, and we want to find a good partner who's going to go through and rehab this property, either to rehab and live in the property or rehab and flip the property. So some of the first steps is they're going to look at what is the ARV, after rehab value. So they're going to go look at the best houses in the neighborhood, the typical houses in the neighborhood. What do those houses sell for? They're going to come back and do their math. What do I have to do to get this house to there? And then what's it going to cost to sell? And maybe if they're a flipper, they're making a profit, or what is their budget overall for everything? And then they're going to make a price. So they're going to come to us and say, I will buy the house at this price based on these numbers, and they will share those numbers with me. So the goal is to reach out to as many investors as possible, show performance, which is really important in a probate or trust transaction. You want to have an arm's length transaction. Everyone needs to perform. The attorney, the probate administrator, and myself all have to show that we're all doing our job to get the highest and best price for the estate, and that's what we're going to do. So let me walk you through this property, kind of show you what we're dealing with, and I'll give you some more info. So when you look at this house on the surface, this is one of the better investment properties that I've seen. I think there's a real opportunity here for someone to actually buy this house and live in it versus having to flip it, because it needs work, but it's not as bad as I've seen before. However, there is a significant smell in here. So there were people who broke in here and they lived here for quite some time. The floor doesn't look bad. You can see there's some significant damage here. So for the most part, all the flooring is going to have to go. I don't think you're going to get the smell out otherwise. Then you have the casings are all damaged because the house had to be boarded up. The front door, and I'll show you that, on the outside has been boarded up. There's a lot of damage in here. You can see, obviously, these big ones here, but this window's gone right here. This is gone, and that was broken into. So there's a lot of little damage like this throughout the house, but beautiful layout. It is a 3-bedroom, 2.25 bath. Nice kitchen, Corey on top, nice footprint. Definitely make this an open concept, but you will see we do have boarded up windows. We do have a lot of doors. You've got to replace a lot of these doors, and most of the cabinets around here are going to have to go. So they've all been damaged. Let's come down here and take a look down the hallway. So when we come down the hallway here to the bedrooms, you see a lot more floor damage here, along with the smell, as I mentioned. It really looks like the flooring is going to have to go. Now, we own an estate sale company, so this is very common. There is some furniture that is salvageable that they saved. We will take this to another sale. We don't always have that opportunity, but I do have the opportunity right now that I have got a client who is willing to let us bring some stuff over there to help fill out their sale. It always makes for a better sale when there's more stuff, so people are generally open to it. So this room looks really good. Just really want to shout out to Reaper Clean for the amount of work they did. You wouldn't have believed this room before. So more broken doors here. Bathroom, no lighting. So a lot of the lighting and the wiring's been pulled out of the house. So there'll have to be some pretty good extensive electrical work. But if you go through this, obviously kitchen remodel. Apparently there's a leak in here somewhere. It's been identified. We need to disclose it. Primary bedroom, no power in here. The room is not so bad itself. There is a broken window on the house, and then we have the bathroom's been pretty much destroyed. There's a broken window there as well. But if you look at this bathroom overall, it's a really nice bathroom. So a lot of space. The toilet would have gone there, and walk-in closet, and this really cool shower that tucks back around there, and it's pretty big. That's a nice looking shower. So it's a great house overall. So a big question that I get from people is, why don't they flip it themselves? Why don't they rehab it themselves? So it's not nearly as easy as it sounds. The neighbor just asked me that. Well, why don't they just rehab it and then sell it? But it's not that easy. So first of all, it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of skill, and it takes some vision. And sometimes people don't live in town, so really hard to do. So then when you put in a significant amount of money, how much extra money are you going to get out of it? Now you're going to get a little bit more than your investment. You always get a little bit more than that, but you also have holding costs. You've also got travel time. You've also got a lot of other factors to consider. So if you almost call it a wash, you're not going to get that much more money out of it, then it's just so much better and faster for a family to sell as is and let someone who knows what they're doing do the work. You end up netting about the same, maybe a little bit less, but it depends on if you have the skill set. I have this conversation with people and someone says, yes, I absolutely would love to do it. Most cases they say, absolutely not. I can't, there's just no way I can do this. And so in that case, you sell as is. And that's what we're going to do. So we'll get this house up and running. I will do a final walkthrough when we're done. And I appreciate you watching this. You can find us on Instagram at Estate Sale Fresno, on Facebook at Eric McCormick Realtor, and on TikTok as Dad Talks Real Estate.